All right, today what we're going to do is we're going to show you how to install the new Hunterworks X2, X4 machine sheave. One thing for you X4 guys, sorry, don't have one here for me to show you any of the differences, and you'll have to work that part out. But the clutch is the part that's important, is going to be the same. Now this X2 has actually been apart since November. Heck, I can't even remember where all the parts are, what all I took off to get down to the clutch. But as you can see, it's a good bit off. Now one thing is still attached, but you'll have to get it off, is this, I call it a seat supporter bracket. Mine's back on and my seat's back in because I've been doing a lot of testing. So the seat comes out, the bracket comes out, all this plastic has to come out, and you have to take this loose to get the clutch cover off. So as I jokingly have said on some things in the past, is if you have to be told how to get these parts off, you know, this may not be the job for you or the part for you. What's to me is the technical, or has little tips and tricks, is the actual install, because we're not just pulling parts off and sticking the exact same thing back on. There's going to be some differences, okay? Another thing is I'm going to move the camera in and get you a better view, and I apologize if I block something. I'll talk as we go. Another thing you need to know before we get started on video is my sheave, the machine one's already in here. I didn't want to put the stock one back on because crap, we're just taking it off, and then we'll move over to prepping it for the reinstallation. Okay, so we're supposed to move to the camera and in so we can get at it. Okay. All right, first of all, it's a little crowded with getting you a light and a camera and me in here, but we're going to do what we can. So once you get down to this point, the first thing you're going to do is take your supplied screw that we give you. It goes in the secondary. There's 2 holes here. Either one's fine, whatever you can get to. Get it started with your fingers, and I use an impact 10 millimeter. All right, till it bottoms out. That gives our belt slack. Next thing we're going to do is take our bearing support off. We can see this in this corner down here, but this one I usually have to put the extension and the 10 millimeter on to get to it. Okay. All right, and then take the rest out. Mine's only got 2 on it. Mine's only got 2 on it just for time's sake. Okay, so you'll take the other 2 out. They're a little hard to get to. Pull this off. All right. Now obviously your sheave won't look like this, and it'll have the cover and all, but just work with me here. Take a 27 millimeter socket. If you're using hand tools, I got no clue what you can hold it with. I just never used them. All right, slide it off. The collar will probably come off with it. If not, you're going to remove it. All right, so now your old clutch is off. All right, so here's your stock sheave. Mine was already off, like I said. So here's it. I'm going to switch to overhead view, and basically the only reason you're taking that apart is because you need your cam plate. Okay, so basically you just take all these screws out. There's an O-ring up underneath there. I usually would take like a screwdriver here and pry, and just kind of pry to get it off. Get your cam plate out and clean it. I mean, just dry as a bone. Okay, so let me get a semi-clean cam plate here. All right, what you want to do is all right, so what we're going to do is start with sheave preparation. Okay, this thing is going to be dirty from my fingerprints or whatever reason. probably some metal flakes from the machining in it. You want to get all that out, blow it out with air, whatever it takes. And then on your belt surface, what you want to do there for prep is take some brake clean and a clean rag and wipe the belt surface off. Get any fingerprints or anything like that on it off. Just keep your fingers off of it. Now this is a big jar of Tink Seal, but yours is going to come with a little bit, small amount, and you'll just simply take your finger and wipe it around inside. There's a smooth portion in the bottom or a tighter fit. You won't put a lot there, and kind of put it a little heavy in the void. You'll see that. All right, so once you get a decent amount in there, here's the trick, and I'll put some excess in mine so that you get the full effect of this, okay? All right, once you do that, you'll take your collar, set it down on a table, and set this over this and push it through. All right, as it's coming through, you can see that excess grease. So I usually grab it with a rag, pull it on through, and wipe that off. And then we'll put it back on the vehicle. So the greasing part's done. Reason for that is you don't want excess grease on anything flying around, okay? So then you're gonna take your weights and drop them in. Okay, no particular direction order on that. On your cam plate, now mine's already been done, but on your cam plate, and like I said, you might be able to see it in this overhead view, but this edge right here is extremely sharp. And so if you watched our explanation video, we're using a lot of this ramp with this roller, and that thing is so sharp. So what we want you to do is take a flat file. Hopefully you got a flat file. I didn't even have one when I started. I got one for $4 or something from a hardware store. Got another small one off of Amazon, I think. But just take your file and knock that edge off. We're gonna do it. Let's see how you want, which camera we're gonna go. Let's just knock it off, maybe a little bit at an angle. You don't go crazy, and you just smooth it up. And basically you're just taking that edge off so that it doesn't have a sharp edge and cut into anything if, quotation, if it ever moved out that far, okay? So do that all the way around, all right? Now my cam plates had that dry lube that we use in testing. All right, so it's now to put our cam plate slides on. If you'll notice, these slides have a little bitty protrusion, whatever you want to call it, here, and that goes on the bottom. And actually it's a little bit longer. If you look at it here, it's a little bit longer on the bottom, so the bottom goes first. You might ask yourself, well, why am I paying for more slides when I already got some? We do use the OE slides, but there's several processes we do to them, which are kind of a secret. We actually do 2 or 3 things to them and then put our dry lube on them, okay? So once your cam plate slides are on, then you simply drop the cam plate in. As you can see on this machine sheave, it moves free. All right, so this is basically ready to go back on, but what I do at this time is I flip it over and hold it in this hand, and I usually take a little bit more of this and double check that there's none on here. Nothing on here, and it's ready to go, okay? So now it's ready to go. Take our collar and go back to the vehicle. Okay, here we are back, and I'm gonna put my collar back on the shaft. Get this belt back around it. Ooh, there it goes. If your belt comes loose like mine did, then just get it back on track, like so. Now, I caution you, you do not want to touch this, and I usually hold it like so and just kind of tilt it up on there and get it going. Now, just like other vehicles, this splines sticking out of this cam plate is extremely important. You see me kind of mashing this belt, because if that belt is sitting right there and I can't push it, ain't no splines, and if you try to tighten it up, you're gonna be in a mess. All right, so move your belt. There it went. Okay, I got a little grease on that. You certainly want to get it off. And then you're going to put your washer back on, holding everything in place. And the nut, I apologize, it's a little tight in here with the camera and the light. Alright, get it started with your fingers. Probably best that you screw it on all the way with your fingers. The cool part about this X2 shaft is those splines are kind of angled instead of blunt like the old one, so it's kind of harder to mess this part up. Okay, now there is a torque spec on this. I don't even know what it is. You know me, I don't torque crap except head bolts and rod bolts. All right, so that's 3 or 4 ugga-duggas. All right, then grab your bearing support. Get it around your belt. Line back up on the shaft. There you can tell where it went. The way I usually get it is put my extension on here and kind of guide it in with my fingers. And then I'll come back in a minute, tighten that up just a little. And again, you have to do it with just the extension. Let's see if I can fill the hole. And you may have to, there it went. All right. And just repeat that on the other 2 bolts. I'm gonna keep 2 in mind for now. Take your secondary screw back out. You can turn it. You won't. And it'll start working its way back. Or you can just simply crank it up and rivet up one time and it works its way back. Here it's coming. Here we go. There you go. All right, you can actually, I don't know if the camera will pick it up. Now you can see your belt is actually sticking up above your sheave now. And if you want to inspect it, you can see what we were talking about in the explanation video. There's plenty of room, so we're not in danger of hitting it like we were in the 708cc, the 16, 17 models. All right, so that's really it. It's not that hard. The difference is going back is there won't be a dust cover, there won't be screws, there won't be O-rings, there won't be any grease on weights. Do not do any of this. Put it exactly like we have it. Comes with the tink seal to use in the center, so there's lube for that. So if you'll do exactly like we do, you will not have any trouble. I always say don't put your own spin on it. Taking it to a dealer to let them install it, I'm just not a fan. They just about 100% failure rate in the past because 1, they're going to tell you you're crazy, and 2, they won't put it back on like we tell you because they typically don't watch a video. And I'll finish this up by just saying put your covers back on, all your plastic back on, you're ready to go. If you're the cautious kind of guy, if you want to drive it like this around the yard, make sure you're good, you can. This one hadn't been on, and I've done all the driving and all the testing on it without this cover on it, so you can certainly do that. But I will, like I said, is finish this up just saying, it's something we say on a lot of our videos these days, is I can't be 100% right 100% of the time for 100% of the people, and the products cannot either. there's going to be things that we've never dreamed of that you would be doing that would cause problems. You know, there's just all kind of avenues you could go down that we've never dreamed of. So we're out there for the 95%ers, as I like to call it. The guys who aren't putting the super big tires and the snorkels and the 10-inch lift kits and all that stuff. If you're that guy, this may work for you, it may not, but you'll just have to deal with the fallout for sure. But if you got any questions, shoot me an email. I know I'm hard to get on the phone these days. That's just part of it because we're so busy. Make sure you subscribe to our videos. There should be a red deal down in here. I'm also planning on putting a little link here to our explanation video so that you can go right to it if you happen to catch this one first. And I guess that's about it. And just once again, thank you guys for being patient for us taking so long to get this done.